all those ecosystems exist in their own silos. And with the right work, the right focus, you can generally find a way to infuse that backbone by kind of connecting the dots between those.
Welcome to another episode of the Community Broadband Bits podcast. I'm Christopher Mitchell at the Institute for Local Self-Reliance. I'm still here and down in Houston at the Broadband Community Summit, and we are talking today with Keith Quarles Jr., President and CEO of A2D. I just recently became aware of A2D. Before we launch into today's show, I wanted to share a little bit about some interesting things that are coming up. One is a live stream on June 7th at 3 Eastern Time. Our next Building for Digital Equity live stream. This will be the fourth one. We've had a lot of good feedback on our others. It's an interesting mix of presentations and trivia and Q&A. And you can find more at buildingfordigitalequity.com, where you'll see information about that live stream on June 7th at 3 Eastern Time. Also there, you'll see information about the Building for Digital Equity podcast, of which we have many episodes and more to come. These are shorter discussions about people doing that hard work. And then for those of you who haven't heard about the Connect This show, we are going to be continuing to do those about every 2 weeks, and you can find more at connectthisshow.com. That is an hour-long video show, usually a little bit longer than that, often featuring Travis Carter from USI Fiber in Minneapolis, Kim McKinley from Utopia Fiber, and Doug Dawson, the consultant extraordinaire. So if you haven't caught any of those, they're best on video. You can watch them on YouTube. You can find that and additional shows from ILSR, the Institute for Local Self-Reliance, where I work, at ilsr.org/podcasts. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for being here.
So I was very excited when we're putting together these panels, and one of the panels that I was running, Barbara, who runs the event, said, we got this guy, Keith Quarles, he's going to be perfect for your panel. And I'm always nervous when I don't know someone, but you were perfect for the panel.
Well, I appreciate it. I lived up to expectations.
So tell us about A2D.
So A2D is we're an open access CLEC, obviously industry term, but open access carrier. We're infrastructure based, all fiber optics, to the home, to the business, to anything.
Does A2D mean something?
Analog to digital.
Ah, okay.
So it kind of represents the transition that we're all living in right now, right?
Yeah.
Is from the old analog infrastructure way of telephone, video, to everything's digital now.
So you are a private for-profit company that focuses on open access.
Exactly, and I will emphasize in its purest sense.
So several years ago, I felt like there was one or two of these that I knew of. Mm-hmm. There's a few more now. Many of them are have different focuses and that sort of a thing. But you're focused on something that you call filling in the gaps. And I think that's interesting. You're not going after like a major market area. You're not trying to build all of Atlanta. You're focused on filling in the gaps. What does that mean?
Yeah, so it's about market entry and also about digital. You could call it digital inclusion, right? Is as we look at this transition from analog digital, we look at the industries transitioning from telephone markets, cable markets, to now what does the internet do? Internet kind of unifies everything, but the telecom market really truly hasn't adapted to this like universal look. So what ends up happening is you have these pockets, right? So a cable provider may or may not upgrade their area. The ILECs may or may not upgrade theirs. So you have these islands that kind of exist, and when you add those up, even in what one would consider metro markets, those little sub markets, little pockets, start to add up to pretty significant. And in the world of public funding, federal funding, where the maps will show unserved, underserved, a lot of these areas are going to get missed. Mm-hmm. Because from a census block, they may look, we're all served. Well, there's enough communities within those that actually aren't. And so that's why we're trying to push the envelope in that.
Georgia was a state that pushed the envelope in mapping. And I'm curious if that helped you out a lot. I think they were like one of the first states that had a more accurate map than the horrendous FCC maps.
Yeah. I mean, definite kudos. We're well in touch with the folks at GTA, Georgia Technology Authority, and also the state broadband office. Very good maps. But again, what we're seeing is markets that even after ARPA, after BEAD, you're still going to have, and they exist right now, right? So they're not showing up necessarily in the maps because they may be served, but affordability, right? Maps don't address necessarily affordability, things of that nature. So, great job. Georgia's doing a great job, has done it, and they're very, we feel like they're very in touch with what's really going on in the communities, and that's great. But as always, there's more to do, right? And we feel like we're trying to do that. We're trying to take that next step.
So if we're talking about trying to think of an example of a county, you might have 25, 50,000 addresses, and then among them you might have 1,000 that are not served. They're kind of spread out around, and so you're building out to those areas and then connecting the areas in between as best you can.
Exactly, and it's work. I mean, it's not easy. I'll say that up front is we're because as you know, networking, it's not, you can't just go into a neighborhood isolated and say, oh, we're going to do a network. So we find strategic and creative ways to infuse initial infrastructure called backbone infrastructure, and build that in a way that passes through these kind of missed neighborhoods, right? So it's tough, like I said, and so I think we're doing the work that a lot of others just don't have the time or the funds to do, but us and our equity group, they're backing us, and we're seeing results as we speak right now. Like you said, I mean, we're in a county now that's about 90,000 premises, and it is a prime market where AT&T Fiber is there and so forth. But yet we're still finding a significant amount of areas that may not be underserved from the 100 by 100, but they're not fiber areas yet, right? And so we're pushing that envelope and trying to get really where we get affordable, high-speed gigabit internet to areas that will probably get missed in a lot of this funding.
Primarily fiber, entirely fiber?
We are entirely fiber. In several instances, we have and are partnered with a wireless provider, right, to do fiber to the node so that they can extend. There's going to be areas where 10 homes per mile pass. I mean, that's just not going to work. But we try to push the envelope as best possible. But in those extreme cases, we'll partner with a wireless carrier, and they'll do the fiber to the direct fixed wireless to them. And if over time we can justify a fiber build out to that, then we can. But we push the envelope, try to service everyone in those areas.
You've mentioned creative ways of expanding the backbone. Is that one of those creative ways? Are there additional creative ways?
So, not to tell the whole secret sauce, but but no, I mean, it's realizing the disconnect, right, between the school system and the municipality and the library system and fiber to the tower, and this ecosystem is highly, people have the perception that when you jump into telco, everything is all interconnected and we know everything, and for us, on some level, yes, we do, but on the level of the economic development, the municipalities, it's not. It's highly disjuncted, and so a lot of times we find creative ways to get that backbone in by simply connecting the dots, right? Like I said, you have school systems. They're in their own ecosystem, as you know. The municipality itself, right? So let's say you take a county. There's 2, 3, 4, 5 different municipalities. Some of them may or may not have their own gas company. Some of them may or may not, So there's ways to really, and then you got local EMCs, right? So all those ecosystems exist in their own silos, and with the right work, the right focus, you can generally find a way to infuse that backbone by kind of connecting the dots between those.
And EMCs, for people who are not in Georgia, are electric membership corporations, which is what everyone else calls electric co-ops.
Yeah, exactly right. Yes, sorry, that is a local state term that we use.
Yeah, no, and there's different folks use different language for different reasons.
Right.
What brought you into this work?
I was formerly a real estate developer in and around Atlanta. pre 2008 crash. And so I was primarily focused on multifamily, commercial, and actually did a hotel right before the crash. And so I was approached by my now partner, Antoine Alsterbrook, who's our founder of our company. And with the model that I now push now, right, is hey, let's do an open access network on your development, or at that time 2 developments. I'll shorten the story, but it's interesting because this was 2005, right? So, and I remember like yesterday, at that time, the cable companies in Atlanta, I want to say their name, that what the narrative there was 12 meg burst, right?
Uh-huh.
We were at 12 meg burst, burstable, right?
Yeah.
That was
Right.
out on the commercials,
Right.
And here comes this guy saying, hey, fiber optics, open access. I mean, you couldn't layer it on a more advanced model in that period of time. But it stuck with me as a real estate developer because I quickly realized that, number one, the A2D, analog to digital, I got that from the beginning. And that was critical, was understanding, hey, the industry is this way right now. Technology is this way, but it's going to be something different. And in essence, he who owns that infrastructure will ultimately win right now. Fast forward, it's been how many 12, 13 years now in industry. It's taken time, but I think technology has and the industry has caught up. But that's how I got into it. I was on the developer side, and then ultimately I shut that down and hopped on got into telecom.
And at that point, you recognized that whoever owned the network would be king. You decided you didn't want to be the king. You wanted to share that with others for open access. How did that work?
That's right. Yeah. So part of that was understanding. Coming from the real estate world, I understood the difference between, the owner of the building and the tenants, right? And so that looks one way in real estate, looks a different way in telco. And that's been a lot of our growth and challenge is understanding and appreciating that dynamic, the ISP versus the network operator or network owner. And I'd like to say that we've, our company's mastered that pretty well. We have at least 6+ ISPs on our networks. But yeah, that's the secret sauce is how do you balance where we own and operate the infrastructure, but yet it is done in a way and it's in markets that are both appealing and attractive to the ISPs, right? And create a model where everybody truly wins, right? There's really no full confrontation. There is confrontation. Obviously, we're a market disruptor, right, to the incumbent.
Right, but you said that the first thing you do when you're going to a market is reach out to the incumbent to say, "Hey, I'm building here. Let's work together."
I give you a fair chance, right? And
I'll bet they don't appreciate it, nonetheless.
so it's again, everything evolves, right? So I would say during the earlier days, kind of B-top-ish, there was a lot of resistance, even as recently as a few years ago. I mean, there's definitely resistance because it is a disruptor, right? But I think as those incumbents embrace what the future will be, and they're seeing it now, it's becoming more of an invitation. Like, okay, I get it. I see how I can, speaking on the incumbent, I can gain market share without having to block everybody out per se. And that's just the reality that we're dealing with. Is not to be we've heard it before. I mean, there's vested interest for the incumbent to block competition. That's just the nature of the business. But we're just recently now seeing a little bit more of an open door to that concept. But yeah, before it was I know I don't like you and
right.
And quite honestly, it was I don't believe you're going to do it. So a lot of times it was we had to prove that we were going to do it and do it and deliver and then they want to play. A lot of stories, a lot of fun, a lot of sweat and grit. But yeah, I think we like the model and we're going full board on it.
Excellent. How did you get to know? Like, what I think this is sort of the last question I'll ask you.
Sure.
But how did you coming into this from real estate? Like, how did you get up to speed on telecom type stuff? Because there's a lot of people coming into this field right now from other professions. They're trying to figure out how to understand what all this stuff means.
So there's more similarity than people would think in this. So as a developer, right? It's just very similar, right? As a developer, people from a non-developer always try to get in development. Like you had construction guys would try to figure out. You have architects, money guys try to figure out. So the same thing in telco is okay. Well, yeah, I see the money, I see this thing, but I don't really know. And so I think key to it is, quite honestly, is the top group that we partnered with. Right, we're all, at the end of the day, there's 4 of us at the top of the company. I'll say myself, Antoine Alsabrook, Gerald Rector, and Rodney Gray. We're all engineers by schooling. Even though I'm the business guy, I'm the the biz dev, but I'm a civil engineer by training. So we're all naturally built to figure stuff out, and having that at the top has been phenomenal. We rely heavily on our most senior guy, Gerald Rector. He's been in the industry for 30 plus years. He's been with various companies building the internet, literally, over those years. And so, to better answer the question, I've gotten up to speed from one, just have a problem solving mind, 2, being around enough folks in the industry that do understand what's going on, and then the rest is just being around long enough to figure it out. Yeah. But it's been a very eye-opening industry. I've been in it, now, I guess 13 years. So I can no longer say I'm a newbie.
At this point you're old school.
Yeah. It's kind of But
80% of people in this field have been here for less time than that.
Exactly. But no, it's definitely been a learning curve, and it's an industry you just have to get in and figure it out, because they're not. That's the other thing, is they're not really going to tell you what's going on, right? Like they're even, I know you see network maps but it's industry you just have to get in, swim in it, and figure out the lay of the land, and eventually figure your way. So it's not a easy point of entry by any means.
Well, it's wonderful, and we're excited to get to know you, and hopefully report on more network deployments coming up.
Yeah, we have some great stuff coming up, even this year. I'll give you the first to release. How about that? On some very exciting news coming up here shortly.
Wonderful. That sounds great.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yep. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Keith Quarles, the president and CFO. I might have said CEO.
You did earlier. That's okay. No problem.
CFO of A2D.
Only person will be mad would be Antoine. He's no problem.
Wow. Sorry, Antoine. You should have been here.
Hey, there you go.
Take care.
We have transcripts for this and other podcasts available at muninetworks.org/broadbandbits. Email us at podcast@muninetworks.org with your ideas for the show. Follow Chris on Twitter. His handle is @CommunityNets. Follow muninetworks.org stories on Twitter. The handle's @muninetworks. Subscribe to this and other podcasts from ILSR, including Building Local Power, Local Energy Rules, and the Composting for Community podcast. You can access them anywhere you get your podcasts. You can catch the latest important research from all of our initiatives if you subscribe to our monthly newsletter at ilsr.org. While you're there, please take a moment to donate. Your support in any amount keeps us going. Thank you to Arnie Hughesby for the song Warm Duck Shuffle, licensed through Creative Commons. This was the Community Broadband Bits podcast. Thanks for listening.